Happy Tuesday, Seminoles. Overall, a very gorgeous day out. Nothing but sunshine in our area. And if you look out over Doak Campbell Stadium, you can really see that center-lane sunshine sitting over there and a few clouds with that easterly flow. But overall, pretty calm and pleasant. So as 83 degrees, and there's that east-northeast wind that is bringing in some of the clouds into our area. But overall, pretty pleasant. 84 Apalachicola, 83 Tallahassee. Nothing but sunshine dotting our area. Even up in the Georgia, nothing to complain about, with the exception being our areas off to our east. So from Valdosta to Lake City over to Gainesville, along the 75 corridor, there are some chances of showers and storms, but overall, nothing too crazy. So for our headlines, we're going to have mild temperatures staying to the area. We'll have enhanced rain showers and a tropical wave. Let's go find out on FSU weather.
FSU weather. We just pop in right now real quick. Hopefully my mic is on and we're rolling as we welcome you to Tuesday edition of FSU weather. I'm student meteorologist Evan Thomason, and that was a cool jump for there. But today we've been dealing with sunny skies for most of the day, which has been great news. What we've been doing for the past week. So I hope you've been a fan of that. No major rainstorms have gone through the area much at all, which is great and also bad. We could use it a little bit, not as much as areas out to the west, which are dealing with raging wildfires still, and we can only wish the best for them, especially since their dew point is so low. But it's also been nice just to see Tallahassee sunsets, which we'll also see later on in the show. See all those beautiful pictures. Personally, that just uplifts me at the end of every single day. And for y'all to honestly bring in photos into our community and basically post them to our site, which is great news for that. And as I said, it uplifts my day. I hope it uplifts yours. So hopefully we'll get one of those good ones for you later today, as around the area is experiencing mainly partly cloudy skies and a little bit of a chance of rain actually finally getting into the picture in the next 2 to 3 days, which will actually be good for some more crops. So look on the way for that. Shouldn't be too definite. It's pretty much going to be a 50-50 on how far storms go. We'll get into that later on the show and more of the specifics of timing and things like that. But be on the lookout for the next 2 to 3 days, as we might get some rain coming in, and then after that should be mostly clear actually heading into the weekend, which is great news. And also with those storms the next 2 to 3 days, most of them going to be pop-up. As I said, nothing too much definite on timing. We'll explain a little bit further on later in the show. But yeah, for now, we're going to go on to the wall with Christian at explaining when and where we're going to get this rain.
Yes, thank you so much, Evan. And so as you can see from behind me, our FSU weather stem. The sun's actually coming now. Just a few minutes ago, it was actually covered in some clouds, but it's nice to see clearing skies at this very moment. Our current temperature is 83 degrees with partly cloudy skies, and it feels like 86 degrees, a little bit warmer because of the humidity. And we got some winds coming from the east-northeast at 12 miles per hour. And now, as you can see, for our hour by hour, it has actually been relatively mostly 80s throughout the day. It was actually quite cooler, as you can see, from 6 a.m., 72 degrees, which is really nice if you love having a morning walk, perhaps. But we have warmed up all the way to 85 degrees this afternoon at 2 o'clock. And as we look into our area for temperatures, it is currently sunny in areas of Thomasville, Bainbridge, and Apalachicola, but it is partly cloudy where we are in Tallahassee. 83 degrees in our area, and we have 81 degrees in Quincy, 82 in Bainbridge, as well as 79 in Thomasville, and it is all cloudy in Valdosta with 80 degrees. And for our dew point temperatures, it is 69 degrees for us here in Tallahassee. Like I said, it is kind of humid here. And we have 70 degrees for both Quincy and Apalachicola, and it is also 68 degrees in both Thomasville and Bainbridge. And now we are going to take a look at our satellite and radar. We got some rain coming all the way from our east side. It's not going to be hitting us at in the next few hours, but it's still going to be rather cloudy as we approach later this evening into tomorrow. Our upper level water vapor, it is currently raining actually throughout the rest of the peninsula. You can see from all this moisture coming around Florida, it's not actually hitting us quite yet, but you can see that the moisture is going to be contributing into some isolated showers later on for tomorrow. Like I said, in the next 24 hours, it's still going to be partly cloudy skies. We're going to have some isolated thunderstorms coming into our region, and it's going to be just by chance depending on where you are. And tonight's forecast is going to drop down to a nice cool 71 degrees in Tallahassee as well as Carabel, and in the upper 60s to low 70s as well in southwest Georgia and in Monticello as well. And tomorrow's forecast, it's going to be all thunderstorms around our area. It's going to be 86 degrees here in Tallahassee, as well as mid to upper 80s in the rest of our region. And tonight's forecast is 68 degrees. It's going to be a little bit clear, but we are going to have some clouds coming in. And for tomorrow, it's going to be 86 degrees with isolated thunderstorms. And as you can see, for the rest of the week, it's going to be nice and thunderstormy for the next 3 days, which is what we need. But now we're going to go ahead and pass things off to Hayden.
Yes, as we're talking about lots of moisture coming into our area. And as Christian said, it's not really a bad thing. So anyways, yeah, like I said, very warm conditions will continue to stay into our area. And overall pleasant conditions will pretty much dominate 83 Tallahassee, New Orleans, 83. Overall be pretty calm. So for our dew point, 69 Tallahassee, 69 into Southern Florida, 74 in Miami, always so very humid. And 60s over in Atlanta. And some slightly lower dew points, but still very moist for this time of the year. And then for the southeast, you can generally see that southeast wind really coming into the area. Tupelo, Montgomery, New Orleans, Tallahassee, all having an easterly component. That's just really indicative of that high pressure and that ridge kind of dominating. You get some of that counterclockwise flow into the area. And that's also a very warm airflow for us. And that's why we have temperatures that are unseasonably warm right now. So with our southeast, we do have some drier air and some more stable conditions, and that's why we don't have much showers over Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and also Tallahassee and the western part of Florida. However, this quickly shifts as we have some tropical moisture from the Caribbean, but contributing to some moisture surrounding Keys. We especially have some rain, and in central Florida, we have some shower spotting in the area. Overall, nothing too heavy. Now, speaking of the moisture, you can see some of these higher cloud colors. So this is indicating some colder cloud tops, and it's also indicating some moisture in some clouds. And then as we head further to the southeast, some of these black colors, that's just showing us that it's picking up on the temperature of the ground, which is much warmer and therefore much sunnier, and that's why we don't have as much precipitation clouds to talk about. So anyways, for tonight's forecast, 77 in Miami, 75 in Tampa, cooling off slightly as we head into further up in the north and the southeast, with temperatures in the mid-60s. Overall, pretty pleasant conditions, especially the further north you go. And then as for tomorrow, very, very warm conditions. Highs in the mid-80s, 84 New Orleans. Look at Shreveport, 88 degrees, very warm. And then shifting our gears down to South Florida, you can see some of that precipitation chances with those thunderstorms going into our area. So this warm and unstable pattern will continue, especially for the Florida Peninsula, and now we'll take it over to Evan.
Thank you very much, Hayden. I know we're mostly done with hurricane season, but sadly, it is 2020, and it is still here. It is still lasting until November the 30th. We've had so many countless storms to go through, so many memories to have been made, for sad reasons, though, unfortunately, as we've gone all the way now to Epsilon. Epsilon has now been taken off the charts of the 2020 Greek alphabet named storms. I believe it's the 26th named storm of the season. That is a lot to deal with in one Atlantic busy season, to say the least. And we'll get to that and how it's affecting there right now, actually, as we're looking at Tropical Storm Epsilon. Huge convection, huge twirl in the rotation, as you see right there. And it has covered a massive amount of space. It doesn't look that actually big on our radar, but if you look how small the United States is compared to Tropical Storm Epsilon, you can see how massive this has gotten. And it has been a busy season, to say the least. But actually looking a little bit into the Caribbean and the Gulf, I know an area where we're definitely looking at right now. Not in particular for it being very active. You see, we don't have much rotation. We have a little bit of convection, a little bit going on for this area, but that's it. Well, I say that's it, but not much rotation, much with anything. We actually do have a 10% chance located right where the tip of my finger is. So maybe that might start stir a little bit. A lot of the models have actually picked up on something possibly stirring a little bit in the lower Caribbean region. And frankly, it's been good because it's actually been fighting a lot of wind shear and everything like that. A lot of moisture has covered the Central and Southern American coastline, but none of them have been able to be picked up with the southerly flow and been able to form and basically brought over anywhere into the Gulf of Mexico, which is great. Great news. But here's the main focus. Tropical Storm Epsilon do have a huge hook. You see, a lot of the convection spreads all the way out to the west. In fact, I'm going to move on a little bit back further. You see how large the tail end of this actually is. It is massive. You see, not much convection actually on the west side. In fact, you can see a lot of a dry air actually peeking up right into there and kind of curling into Tropical Storm Epsilon. And that's going to affect the intensity of the storm. I wouldn't say it's going to weaken it, but it's definitely going to stop it from intensifying to a much bigger storm. As you saw there, it was actually getting up to maybe only a Category 1, which is great news. It is also great news that none of the spaghetti plots are going anywhere near the United States coast. The only thing that I've been dealing with possibly is Bermuda. Even then, the track was a little bit off the coast, and it is also dealing with a lot of dry air. A lot of dry air dealing and mixing in with this thing, which is stopping this thing from intensifying further, which is great news. No land impacts. Good old fish storm. That's what we like to hear for 2020, especially when it comes to tropical storms that have already affected the United States. So for now, we're going to go over to Christian with a look back at our local.
Yes, thank you. And once again, you can still see some clouds coming in the area. We're quite surprised it's actually cleared up pretty nicely. It's nice to see the sun once in a while. Now we look at our current temperature. It is 83 degrees. It's a little bit warmer than I would personally like, but that's okay. Got some partly cloudy skies and winds coming from the east-northeast at 12 miles per hour. And we're going to look in our area. Once again, it's going to be 83 here in Tallahassee. It's actually clear in the areas of Thomasville and Bainbridge and Apalachicola because we got some clouds dispersing around our area. It is completely covered in clouds here in Valdosta, but it's not going to be too bad for our weather. And as we look at our dew points, it's going to be 69 for Tallahassee and Valdosta. It could be a little bit nicer in my personal opinion. But that's what all of us Floridians always have to deal with anyways. It's a part of living. It's also 70 in both Quincy and Apalachicola. And as we look into our wind speeds, we got most of our winds coming northeasterly winds. And we got some winds picking up here along Tallahassee and Thomasville with 12 miles per hour. And we have 10 miles per hour in Donaldsonville, 8 miles per hour in Quincy, and it's a little bit calmer down here in Sumatra. All right, and like I said before, we got some clouds that are coming in, isolated, partly cloudy skies in our regional area, and you can see all that rain coming from the far east, and we could be seeing that potentially later on this evening into Wednesday. And like I said, depending on where you are in the area, you could see some chance of some isolated thunderstorms. And as we look into tonight's forecast, it is 68 degrees. You may have some chances of clear skies, but we can still expect partly cloudy skies still lingering over our skies. And for tomorrow, it is still going to be isolated thunderstorms as I have expected, with temperatures being at 86 degrees. And as we look into the week ahead, like I said, the next 3 days is going to be 40% chance of thunderstorms Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, with some temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. And we got some lows, nicely comfortable actually, down into the lower 70s. And now I'm going to be passing things off to Evan.
Thank you very much, Christian. We're going to expand now from beyond the local Tallahassee, look at what's going on everywhere within the nation. And boy, do we actually have a lot more going on rather than dealing with these consistent 80-degree high temperatures that have been basically flooding over the Gulf Coast basically for the past week and a half. We've reached lows finally down in the 50s last week, which was amazing last weekend. But again, we returned back to those 80s. Elsewhere, we're dealing with snow and 31 degrees in Minneapolis. What a huge temperature contrast we actually have between Memphis at 83 and 51 in Chicago, and even a 20 more degree difference between Minneapolis and Chicago. Just to put that in perspective, probably the drive between Chicago and Memphis is only like a 5 to 4 hour drive. I could be wrong. I haven't searched this up beforehand, but it is definitely still a small gap for such a wide range temperature gradient or temperature change, basically. So we still have a lot of moisture flooding over the southeast. I like to call it the moisture bubble, basically. There's a lot of southerly flow is still basically being trapped under a front, which I'm going to show in a second. But hopefully it should stop snowing in Minneapolis since the dew point has gotten down to 30. And sadly, we're still doing with those dry dew points further out to the west. But here, dead mic. Hello, I'm just going to keep on talking on this mic right here. Sorry about that, folks. We're dealing with technical issues. Hey, it's a typical Tuesday. Even the mics are feeling bad sometimes on Tuesday. Anyways, but we're looking at a lot of snow, as I said, up in Minneapolis, up at I believe it's supposed to be 6 inches of snow, actually, in Minneapolis, anywhere around Minnesota, which is a huge amount, coming from that stationary front, which was once a cold front, and it has driven those temperatures down to about 30 degrees very, very quickly, as it was a huge temperature contrast for them. A lot of snow to deal with already only in around the southeast, actually in South Carolina and North Carolina, actually was driven a lot of Florida is actually getting. So as much as we in the southeast are having a lot of moisture, or the west could need it, and they're not getting it sadly right now, and sadly anytime soon, unfortunately. Tonight's forecast is still going to be looking at getting down to 22 actually behind that cold front. A huge boom for that area over there. Meanwhile, we're sticking with the hot temperatures sticking up in the southeast, still a high of an 80 for the area. But now we're going to go talk things over with Christian at the desk.
Yes, and as Evan was saying, it's really kind of annoying being here in the South. We should really be experiencing some cooler temperatures. I'm sure I'm jealous by those northern states coming in for those cooler temperatures in the midweek. But now we're going to be talking a little bit more about what's going on out west, as Evan was talking about. There's an absolutely severe drought monitor going on in the Rocky Mountains, Four Corners, and as well as the rest of the West Coast in general. Well, as in comparison, here in the Southeast, it doesn't seem like we have much of a drought problem, which is really good, but unfortunately, a lot of homes out west are dealing with such serious drought, and of course, that's what really drives fuel for wildfires. And I understand that in Colorado, there's currently that fire that's called the Cameron Peak Fire, and it has already consumed over 203,000 acres, which is absolutely devastating. It is just outside of Fort Collins, and they have some westerly winds, so actually that smoke is going to be blowing in further east into the cities of Fort Collins, as well as Denver, and even further east than that. And I do understand, though, perhaps later on in the weekend or next week, they could be seeing some potential precipitation. So not exactly maybe this week, but maybe sometime next week. As far as California goes, they are still dealing with some serious wildfires themselves, and California just cannot seem to get a break. Does not look like anything is kind of near in sight for some resolution for those wildfires. But man, can 2020 just get this over with, you know what I mean? And so now we will be passing things off to Hayden, and he will be speaking more about our great state of Florida.
Yes, I tell you what, Florida, living up to its reputation as a sunshine state, although there are some showers contending to the south, but Florida's funny that way. We have a lot of rain. 79 at Miami right now. Key West is 74 and does have some showers by it. Look at Gainesville, 77, Tallahassee, 83. So warming up and becoming sunnier as you head up into the Panhandle, which is always nice for those sun lovers and sunbathers that we have in our area. 73 in Fort Myers, 74 in Miami. These are not temperatures, these are dew points. Although it is so hot, you would think it is a temperature, and that's just really indicative of all that heavy moisture in the air. It's almost like your t-shirt, you sweat, and it can't evaporate, and that's exactly what happens. Pensacola and Tallahassee being defined, the better spots in the upper 60s, though it's not really ideal by any stretch of the imagination. So with those heavy dew points and temperatures, we get precipitation. Over here, this is close to my hometown. We have some showers in Arcadia and Miami, also seeing some showers, and some even showers up in North Florida by the I-75 corridor. But overall, nothing too heavy. And so zooming in on the area of interest, if you're down by Cedar Key and Crystal River, we have some heavier storms. And then also up by Valdosta, some showers, nothing too crazy, probably not even any lightning embedded within it. And then further down, once again in South Florida, you can see some heavier showers. This is actually Sarasota right here, so do expect some rain to come into your region. And then for the Keys and Miami area, some scattered showers, especially over the Keys, and also some broken clouds. But overall, the main point is just very warm. And do bring an umbrella, but I don't anticipate anything too crazy. So for Miami's forecast, we can expect thunderstorms, especially Wednesday, 70% chance. And our highs will maintain in the 80s with more sunshine coming on Friday with only a 30% chance for your weekend. So that's always nice to see. Tampa, we'll be having a mix of rain and sun. Thursday, we'll have lots of sun. The temperature will be 87. So continue that very warm trend for that city that's producing so much sports championships. Go Rays. So for Orlando's forecast, once again, temperatures mid-80s. We will keep that rain chance around Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with the best rain chance for you tomorrow. So keep in mind out. And then for Jacksonville, we will say a little bit cooler in the lower 80s, still very humid, and we'll have a 50% chance of rain. And then Pensacola, we'll be a little bit drier, so we don't have that influence of moisture from the Atlantic as much. And so our temperatures will be in the mid-80s before dropping down to 81 on Fridays. We introduce a rain chance, and that will be the same for the Tallahassee as well if you're checking in our local interests. So for tonight's forecast, 72, Fort Myers, 76 West Palm Beach, with a chance of thunderstorms coming about, lows being lower 70s for North Florida. And then as for tomorrow's forecast, we mid-80s with a chance of thunderstorms. Overall, nothing too crazy that you'd expect for a September, let alone October. So now we're going to pass it off to Evan.
Thank you very much, Hayden, as we look at a beautiful sunset of our nice, beautiful Doak Campbell Cam. Beautiful. It's always good to see this at the end of every single day, especially since we haven't had rain in a while. Which is great news, and then bad news also for our crops as well a little bit. We need at least a little bit of rain to keep us going. Good news, as I said, the moisture has been high still for a while, as we've been dealing with partly cloudy and 83 degrees on our Doak Campbell Cam. There we go, we're back to normal. We're hitting up an eastern wind at 12 miles an hour. It's been very nice, and yeah, a little bit of shade to provide a little bit of more comfort, at least for us. A little bit. It's better than nothing, at least I say. It's nicer actually over in Valdosta. In fact, we're actually hitting a little bit of rain showers further east in Valdosta. We'll get into that in a second on our radar. But a little more of the brutal heat being protected by that high pressure system. And it is very brutal because we're feeling very, very muggy, to say the least, honestly. Very oppressive pretty much all throughout the region. And it's sadly not going to get any better. We don't have too much of a front coming through to really remove that feeling of uncomfortableness, I guess, if that makes sense. Anyways, we do have a little bit of easterlies bringing on some onshore sea breeze flow coming over from Jacksonville, actually. I see a little, as these storms kind of move a little bit farther east, they're slowly fizzling out a little bit. This one's sticking around a little bit over in Valdosta, which is actually getting poured on right now. But as we go on throughout the night, these should start to weaken, and hopefully they won't make Tallahassee. We'll have to see. It'll be a little more of a threat as we go into tomorrow, as you see the sea breeze came from over just east off of Jacksonville, over basically following the I-10 corridor and coming over. See, maybe a fizzle of a shower or two, maybe catching a little bit of some rain in some areas tonight, maybe not all. And we're basically going to be faced with the same threat tomorrow as just a pop-up shower or two. And it's basically going to depend on if you're lucky or not, basically, to say the least. Some areas will probably get maybe some torrential downpours for about 10 minutes. Other teams will just be seeing partly cloudy skies throughout the entire night. But for tonight in itself, should be clear throughout the area, should be clearing up, especially since that daytime heating is slowly going away. Should be reaching down to 68 degrees. Should be cool if you want to make your walk or exercise tonight before the chance of storms and the heat increase tomorrow up to 86 degrees. Will be very cool, actually, getting down to the 50s if you happen to be making the drive over to Louisville. Much better than the oppressive sights here as we look into our rain chances at a continuous 40% over the next 3 days and heading into Saturday for game day here. And those temperatures, boy, they're sticking up in the upper 80s as our highs. But we're going to head over to Hayden to close out our wacky show.
Yes, wow. What about the forecast? If I saw that, I would say, okay, school's just starting and it is September. But no, it is October 20th, and 2020 is continuing to be strange. But like I said, not all people like the cold weather. Some people, especially in Florida, come here for the warm weather. So this might be pretty pleasant for you. So congratulations. Hopefully fall conditions do come for those who like cold weather. So I do want to talk about some important things. Early voting is open actually in Florida now. And temperatures are warm and humid, especially in southern Florida. So it's very important. Some of the lines can be long, and you can be outside because of the social distancing. So just do make sure you bring water. Furthermore, if you're going to any sporting events, such as home football games, high school football games, make sure you tell the athletes and the parents, tell your kids, bring the water. I mean, Friday's going to be 84, the low is 70. And so it's going to be feeling much hotter than what our temperatures actually say with that dew point. So just do keep in mind, it is unseasonably warm and muggy, and some rain chances. So any high school sports could be interrupted possibly, but overall, nothing too bad. Follow us on Twitter, FSU Weather. Also, make sure you visit us on Facebook under same thing, FSU Weather. We are streaming live on YouTube, so don't be afraid to give us past views and look at our other preview shows. And then most importantly, follow us on Instagram. Show us your pictures of the sunsets over Doak Campbell Stadium. Send us pictures of any cumulus clouds coming to the area. So make sure there's no lightning around you. So overall, we will transition to a fall pattern eventually. But right now we are stuck in a very summer-like early fall atmosphere. And so that's all I have for you. Make sure you stay safe. Wear your mask. Hope everyone stays healthy. And just have a great day. This is your meteorologist, Hayden Wilder.